Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about data types, primitive types, reference types, stack and heap memory. So let's dive right into the video. Data types. What are data types? Data types are like a building block. Let me just say it's like a building block that helps the browser or the computer to understand and work with information. They help the browser to understand and work better with information. Now, having given a simple definition of data types, let's talk about the primitive data types. So, the primitive data types are the basic data types that store simple value. They store simple value and they are typically simpler and fixed size in memory. They include the numbers from 1 to 3 to 50. They include the string. String can be in double or single quotes. That's the character, sentence, letter. And also we have the boolean, the true or false. Just yes or no, just like a switch, right? So they are usually directly supported by programming language. Okay, now let's talk about the reference data types. The reference data types, they do not store the actual information. They do not store the actual information. The reference data type can dynamically allocate the memory for data of varying size. They are like a special blocks that don't directly have information but tells us where to get more information, right? So they include the arrays, the objects and function calls. For example, instead of having a block that has a story inside, right, we have a block that tells us where to find more story. So that is typically reference data types. Let's talk about the stack and heap memory. Stack versus heap memory. Now let's use this analogy of involving a kitchen to explain the concept of stack and heap memory. Now imagine a stack of plates in a kitchen. The stack are like a neat pile of plates where you always take the first one at top, right? You always take the first one at top. They use the principle of last in, first out. The last one in, the first one out, which means that the last one you put will be the first one you will take off. Having used this analogy involving a kitchen to explain stack, in programming terminology, the stack is used for keeping track of what your program is doing, right? It's used for keeping track of what your program is doing and managing function calls as well. So just see if your program runs, right? If your program runs, it uses stack for a quick and organizing task, right? And the stack follows a strict order, organizing step by step for keeping track of what your program is doing. Let's use the same analogy involving a kitchen to explain the concept of a heap. Now, think of the heap as a pantry, right? Just an empty space in your kitchen, where you store other varieties of items or kitchen stores, maybe your groceries and all. Now, when you go inside the pantry, you don't need to go and take anyone from the top. You can easily go for anyone on the down. You can reach for any item and pick in any order that you want. So in programming, the heap is a region of memory, right? It's a region of memory used for dynamic memory allocation. You can create, you can modify and delete item in any order in the heap. If your program needs more extensive and flexible space, it goes to the heap. If your program needs more extensive or flexible space, it goes to the heap. And object or data with longer lifespan or dynamic sizes, like say array, often goes to the heap. Basically, the heap is just like a pantry, more extensive space used for memory allocation, and especially for objects with varying lifetime or sizes.